Welcome to the first video of Universal Equality Productions, or UEP, and also welcome to the pop culture revolution. Now, you might be asking, what's a pop culture revolution? What is that? What are you talking about? Well, the mission of Universal Equality Productions is the idea of creating new pop culture media, revolutionizing pop culture so that it is a beneficial tool for the upliftment and the advancement of human beings and the human society. What that looks like is healing, health, spirituality, social responsibility, and art all being fused together to create something that is enlivening and enlightening to the mind. Pop culture in current times is a very widely diverse set of medias, right? Music, movies, games, all those things. And to take what is essentially a flow of either negative or positive information that is coming into being received through the senses, mostly the eyes and the ears. Sometimes, we know this motion, video games. And the idea of taking what has been somewhat of a negative flow of information, ideas that are consistent in our pop culture that reinforce ideas or beliefs, negative ideas or beliefs, is kind of the mainstay of pop culture. We hear a lot of things today about rape, misogyny, racism, classism, right? Sexism. And in some of our pop culture, these ideas are being reinforced. That is, that these things should or are the norm, while at the same time being somewhat invisible. There's the idea that racism is ended, and this idea gives way to racism being allowed to flourish, and it becomes more and more subtle. So when you create a pop culture revolution, what you're looking at doing is reversing the negative effects of current pop culture dynamics. This is why health and healing being external and internal healing of the mind and the psyche, as well as the emotion and the spirit, as well as the body. That's where you get the idea of spirituality. What are spiritual concepts? Actually, morality is a spiritual concept. Love of the self, as well as love of others, is a spiritual concept. Living life to the fullest is a spiritual concept. Being accepting and tolerant of others is a spiritual concept. And then we have social responsibility, some of which I've already mentioned, some of those aspects of which I've already mentioned tie into social responsibility. But also social responsibility is doing what's right for you and others. Right? So the understanding is that if I'm a socially responsible person, that means I do my part in creating a society which is beneficial for all people, which takes into account others' differences as well as similarities, and harmoniously, or tries to harmoniously mesh together so that we have a social community, right, rather than a social dystopia. So merging all these ideas together and producing entertaining, creative, hopefully original, semi-original, though the best people will tell you there are no original ideas left. But the idea of creating media that shows and supports all of those concepts so that we can begin to have an inflow of positive information, positive ideas into the psyche, into the mind, and that those ideas become the mainstay of our social interaction, the mainstay of our art and media, so that those ideas cycle and recycle themselves, rather than ideas and concepts that are just based on detrimental interactions, hypermasculinity, derogatory or degrading behavior towards others, ultra-violence, and on and on. On and on. I won't get into all the negative defects that are currently being recycled through our media. But suffice to say, you can understand the information that we are being given again and again needs to be changed. And it needs to be revolutionized, right? Evolution, it is said, is the natural progression forward. Revolution is the accelerated progression forward, right? We have de-evolution and de-revolution. But we're focused on evolution and revolution. So, again, the mission here, the idea here, is to take these things which nurture, which cultivate a human being to being a better human being, and a better human being, because we can strive for more. We can accomplish more, right? We can accomplish more positive, more beneficial things. So pop culture being this body of information that is intaken by the masses, being this body of different media, art, music, movies, games, so on and so forth. And that information is coming in all the time, right? We're on sensory overload, let's just admit it. Comics, games, movies, music, all this stuff is all around us, right? And it's being intaken through these two major senses, right? And then what it's doing is it's going in here and it's stirring around. It's mixing with what beliefs and ideas we already have, and then it's coming out here, or it's coming out in action. So if what goes in, what's being constantly intaken, is really good things, then what's going to be output is going to consistently be good things. So we strive for universal equality. And we can say, what is universal equality? Right? We can get into that. We won't get into that in this video. But the name itself should be somewhat self-explanatory, because it's universal, it's equitable, and that's what we want to produce. That's what we want to give to you. So, for now, I will say thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the pop culture revolution.